Thursday Talk.
Hello! Happy Thursday!
Hi!
Background music, please.
Hello. Tutulog. Hello. Good evening, guys. Happy tea.
Yes!
Yes. Hey, what's up?
Happy Thursday.
Ayan.
Mga kaganapan dyan.
O, kumusta naman tayo? Kumusta ang Webes natin?
Webes.
Ayos naman.
O, Weba?
Webes.
Sorry. I think nawala ako for a bit. Narinig niyo ako, guys.
Yeah, for a
Yes,
bit.
like
Yes, we can hear you
yeah.
now.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Ayan, perfect.
Yes. This is our third Thursday. Tama ba?
Yes.
Yes.
Happy third Thursday of the month.
Happy
Happy
Thursday.
Thursday.
Of the month and of the year, 2021.
As well, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Wish
How is your 2021 so far?
Okay
Yes.
naman. Lumalaban
Saya.
tayo.
Lumalaban.
I actually just came home from Maginhawa.
yeah.
Maginhawa food trip.
Oh,
Hindi
kumusta?
kanina.
Ah, talaga?
Kumain ako sa Crazy Katsu. Sarap,
Oh,
grabe, nakakabis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And nag-change na sila ng layout in a sense
Okay.
na parang Japanese style na talaga siya. Like, yung mga parang naka-cubicle kayo tapos nakaharap lang kayo lahat dun sa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parang papa-exam lang, ganon.
Oh, ganun. Exam.
Alam ko, nilipat na ng UP yung UPCAT dun eh. Alam ko.
Sa Crazy Katsu.
Oo.
May kasamang gyoza pag nakapasa.
Correct. Yes. Uy, na-miss ko yung Maginhawa. Ang tagal ko nang di nakapunta ng Maginhawa. It was way back 2000. Hala, 15?
Tagal ko na hindi guminhawa.
Alam mo, Gwen, kailangan dumaloy na ang ginhawa dyan.
Yes. Sino kasama mo, Benedict, sa Maginhawa?
Sa mga friend.
Okay.
Ayaw magsabi.
It's nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Mga
Wait,
friend.
something to sa...
Singular.
Mga friends. So, isa lang, para marami.
And it's so nice to realize na parang at this point, a lot of people have now adjusted to the new normal of doing things, lalo na sa mga public places and establishments, mga restos, ganyan. You'll see na automatic na, at least for most people, yung maglalog ka sa contact tracing, magsasanitize ka bago ka pumasok, and even during eating, yan.
That's
So
nice.
yeah, there is hope. May ginhawa sa Maginhawa.
Oo naman.
Yeah.
Well, I just wish na dun sa pag-fill out ng contact tracing form, no? I hope that like all establishments will make use of the QR code. Kasi for me,
Exactly.
ang hassle nung mag-fill out ka and then you hold on to that pen na ginagamit ng maraming tao, di ba? Ako talaga QR code yung, di ba? Yes.
Right.
Ayan. We have a lot to celebrate tonight. Aside from like Ben's food trip Maginhawa.
Sando.
Ibig sabihin kasi makakaalis-alis na tayo, di ba? But we have to follow the safety protocol,
Yes.
sabi nga ni Ben, di ba? But we'd like to also celebrate that Mikey and I are registered voters already.
Yeah!
Congratulations!
Congratulations, Mike and Nico.
Yeah.
Para sa
Alam
demokrasya!
mo yun.
Yan.
May pagsigaw. Diba? So,
And it's
yeah,
so,
well,
it's so
celebrate.
nice. It's so nice to know that so far, parang may 1 million ng new voters for 2022. Yes. Kaya kayo dyan, if you haven't registered yet, go,
Do so.
mag-register na.
Yeah. Yes.
And also, I think,
Do you want to talk about that experience? Siguro,
go, yes.
Go, Mikey. That will help.
We want to hear, and so that they can also learn.
yeah. Siguro quick lang. Kasi my experience was, I went there and then I went to the Parañaque one kasi this is where I live. Diba? And then, pagdating ko doon, diretso ako doon sa session hall kasi that's where the registration is. Diba? And then when I got to the officer, he told me na parang, you need to go back downstairs outside because you need to get a health declaration form. So guys, it is very, very important that when you go, you print the form back to back because I printed mine in separate pages. So they will not accept it unless it's back to back.
Oh, interesting.
And
why though?
it should be in 3 copies. Well, when you download the form, when you register online and you download the form, it's in 3 copies anyways. But make sure that it is back to back. So when you get there, make sure you have your form. You find the health officer for a health declaration form. At least this is for Parañaque. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I've heard that in some places, hindi necessary in health declaration. So, just to be safe, go ahead and ask or, research. Tapos, bring a valid ID. And actually, that's basically it. Aside from that little glitch, it was pretty easy. They were very nice. They were helpful. And I was actually able to do it in about when I really started doon sa pilahan. Since it was by appointment, and since it's early, there's not a lot of people. So I was actually able to finish in about 20 minutes when I actually started. So, guys, if you haven't registered, make sure you do so now. Kasi maaga pa eh. Oo, mahirap na pagdating ng mas malapit na sa election, saka ka mag-register. There's gonna be a lot of people doing that. So,
Yeah.
True. Iwas na lang din sa rush.
I think medyo nag-lag yung cam ni Mike.
And fulfilled.
Hello?
Mike? Hello? Mike?
I don't know,
Hello?
It's an achievement. That's basically it. It's an achievement. The upcoming election.
2021! Baka naman.
Hello? I think si Gwenny yung nagpe-print.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oo nga.
I tried muting mo. Nawawala yung
Ayun, nawawala. Oo.
Nawawala. Ayun, no?
Bigay mo daw muna sa nagpapaprint yan, Gwen.
Ma'am, paprint ko ako itong copy.
Baka kasi hindi tatanggapin niya sa parang.
Sabi kasi ni Mikey, kailangan 3 copies. Ano kaya to? Teka lang
Yes,
lang.
Go ahead.
Check mo lang yan.
Mute mo na kita.
So, habang tayo ay naghihintay for things to settle, we'd like to greet good evening and thank you for joining us sa ating mga early viewers for tonight. Thank you kay Carl Cruz. Hello, may pasando. Wala na akong damit eh. Dito ka namimiss ko ang Boracay feels, kaya nagsando din ako.
Ganun ba yun ba yung impact ng Boracay? Pag ang Boracay, hindi nakasaado ka sa bahay.
Oo, yeah, nakakamiss talaga. Balik na nga ako doon bukas. And Arthur Peña is online.
Hey!
Thanks for joining us, Arthur.
What's up?
Ayan. So kamusta na ang printing? Oh, isa pa pala sa mga bagay na na-mention ni Mike, no? Yung sabi niya kanina, huwag niyo kakalimutan yung... Okay na yan.
Better na.
Huwag niyo
Yan,
makakalimutan yung health declaration ninyo kapag
Right,
pag pupunta kayo sa COMELEC offices wherever
Yes.
you are, just to be sure, di ba?
Yeah. I
Dun ba
agree.
sa pinuntahan mo, Nico, nihiningan ka ba ng health declaration form?
Ayun. Actually, ayun nga eh. Parang it depends on ano kasi pag medyo magulo kasing iRehistro site. So you have to be ano ba? You have to inspect every detail doon. So yung health declaration form was stated at the very bottom. Ang pangit pa, hindi pa ganun kakita yung visible yung font. Tsaka kulay
Okay.
red yata. So nababaliwala ng tao. So I printed first hand yung form talaga na fill out mo for the application. And then
Mhm.
pinata ko ulit yung website, nakita ko the second. So sa second time ko pa talaga print yung health declaration form. Hindi ko nasabi kay Mikey na may health declaration form. Wala talaga sa isip ko. Kasi parang isip ko parang isang printing lang yun. So
Yeah.
yun nga. So for those of you registering for the coming elections in 2022, ayan, so make sure to print out yung health declaration form. Ang weird pa sa Makati Comelec, si Mikey kasi sa Paranaque, strict sila dun sa form, dapat back-to-back. Sa akin, wala talagang pake, as in. Hindi siya back-to-back, as in loose pages siya, binigay ko, tinanggap. Hindi kinuha ang health declaration form. Ang tanong ko, sir,
Oh.
kailangan niyo ba to? Sabi, ay, oo, kailangan namin yan. Mga ganun, kaya takot si Mikey. Di ba? Iba-iba sila ng hindi sila calibrated.
Dapat nag-offer ka, sir, gusto niyo ba ako mag-collect sa mga nandito na?
Yes. Yeah.
And also in the Western Hemisphere, I think they
Yeah.
also marked a milestone. Was that today for the Philippines, no? And
Correct.
20th for the US. Ano nga naganap doon, Nix?
So it's the inauguration of the 46th president of the United States, Joe Biden, and the first woman, Asian, tama ba ako? Black,
South Asian.
Southeast Asian woman, vice president in the United States. Mahaba yun eh. Di ba meron yun yung brand niya. Si Kamala Harris.
So every time they introduce themselves, para kailangan sabihin.
Correct. Ang haba every time, di ba? Yan. Pero I'm so happy. Kayo ba guys, hindi naman ako nakikiapid sa sa US, no? But I feel like I'm more of a Democrat than a Republican. Kayo ba?
Ako, Pinoy.
Yes! Gusto ko yun.
Safe na safe yung sagot. But yeah, one thing I know is from the recent elections that happened there sa mga kapatid natin, that is it's a new beginning, just like every election, no? And there are new things that they are going to look forward to, and maybe significant changes, diba?
Right.
Significant changes from the previous administration.
Correct. And it will the new alam daw no, charot lang. I mean the new administration in the US will change policies in relation to other countries, right? So mga international policies and everything. So I think it will change also yung traction or yung pasok ng tao doon, 'di ba? So I guess it will be easier for us to go to the US this time, 'di ba? So I hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes, looking forward to all the
Hopefully.
possibilities for us, for everybody.
Correct.
Once enough people are vaccinated.
Yeah.
Correct.
Agree.
Hindi pa rin nawawala yun yung threat ng COVID-19.
Oh,
But
naman.
hopefully, di ba, in the next weeks, medyo may positive news na tayong mapakinggan. Because this week, I heard in the news na ang dami ng mga storage facilities na pine-prepare in different cities and locations.
Nice.
That's something that we really are looking forward to kasi parating na ang mga vaccine in the country. Yes. Kayo ba guys? Ready na kayo? Magpaturok?
I have a lot of considerations and questions before I do. So, we'll see. Oh, naman, I mean, who wouldn't want to be vaccinated, diba? But of course, you don't just get the first one that's handed to you. So it's nice to be informed and to keep your eyes and ears open about how things are.
The big question is, Nico, will you do it in public or in private?
Ano ba? Baka naman anong pagkakatulog yan.
Iba maturo
And I'm
sa
sure naman,
akin.
the priority would be our frontliners and
Yes, of
our
course.
uniformed personnel.
Yes.
So all the
Right,
best
right.
to you guys. We're
And
hoping
senior
that the
citizen.
vaccine will be yes, and senior
Yes.
citizen.
That's
Very
right. That's right.
important.
Right. Well, ako naman,
So
I'm not really, hindi naman ako anti-vaccine or anything. But I think any new vaccine has to be tested first, right?
true, I
So,
agree.
tignan muna natin. Kasi like before sa office dati, may libre kaming flu shots eh. Natakot ako kasi yung office mate ko,
Nakakalasing ba yun?
oo. Nakailang shot sila dun eh. Parang pre-shot. Pre-shot.
Kailangan
Pressure
ba
mo
ng
na.
ano nun?
Oo.
Ng pulutan?
Pulutan, chicharon, gano'n. Ganon. Pero nakakatakot din sa office mate ko kasi
Wait lang, di ako makakita.
sige tawa pa, okay. Okay pa. Nakakatawa, nakakatawa tuloy, nakakatakot. Ano po? Kasi yung flu shots, after niya magpa-flu shot yata, silang dalawa na mag-asawa niya, nagkasakit sila all the more the entire year, as in madalas silang sinipon. So I think it's
Who
a
is this?
sign. Kasi office mate ko dati, sa previous company. Tapos
The
ganun naman daw.
entire year?
Oo, kasi ganun naman ang vaccine, di ba? Parang introduces antibodies sa body mo para mag-develop yung
Yeah.
That particular virus. Yes.
Oo, yeah. So
Mm.
ganun siya. Eh parang pag hindi pag kunwari panggabi pa kami dati noon, sa pag mababa yung resistensya mo, talagang ano ka, 'di ba? Magkakasakit ka all the more. Yon. So, but yeah, I'm just like Gwenny. I'm considering given the necessary information no, about vaccines, ano yung effect niya, ilang doses yung kailangan, ganyan, di ba?
True.
Yes, but we have to wait. Di ba priority naman yung senior citizen and then yung frontliners natin. We'll see
Yes.
what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yes. So I think everyone's looking forward to really good to good results ng vaccinations, no? Kasi we all
Yes.
want to go back to our not necessarily the old normal, but the better normal.
The better
Yes.
normal.
Wherein we can
That's
do
the
freely
keyword.
around, yes,
Oo.
hug our loved ones and explore the outside
True.
world. Diba? Why not?
Correct.
So
That,
much to look forward to.
Gwenny, did you say hug, Gwenny? Hug everyone.
Hug
Your
everyone.
loved ones, yes.
Okay. Sorry, baka mali ako narinig kasi, Char. Anong tawag dito? Dun sa inauguration ni Biden, nakakatawa. There was this
May
singer
hugging.
for intermission, I forgot the name of the singer there. Hinog niya talaga yung mga past presidents. Eh, syempre, fist bump sila kasi nga, social distancing. Pero siya talaga, hindi niya mapigilan. What's his name?
Yung the country singer. Forgot his
Yes.
name. Pero he's a really famous and award-winning country singer. Hinag na talaga lahat. And I think they were also, they lead
Keith
into
Urban?
it. Parang they weren't,
Yeah.
Keith Urban is Nicole's husband eh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
pero yun nga, parang they didn't avoid it rin naman eh. Parang they also lead into it. So they were like, okay, so yeah, okay. Pero I guess I would be very like cautious pa rin.
Oo naman. Oo.
Oo naman, no? Grabe.
Right. Wait, pero aside from that country singer, nako, na bonggang-bongga talaga ako sa kumanta ng national anthem nila, Lady Gaga. And
yes.
Yes.
I haven't seen, but I will.
Diba? Very nice. Diba?
Yes.
Ano pa ba?
I haven't seen it though.
You should watch.
By the way,
yes, Mikey, go.
Before we continue, Globe! What are you doing? Umayos kayo. Hindi kami na lang.
Ay, what's up? Okay, internet.
Anong meron, ha? Pag-i-explain. Kung kailan kagawin to, saka kayo naglolo ko. Lagi to nangyayari, ha? Or recently, ha?
Why?
I don't get it. I pay you guys on. Nag-run talaga.
And ako ilabas natin
yan. I pay you guys on time. Tapos ganito, ano meron?
Bakit ganon, ha?
Naman.
Kailangan ko lang ilabas yun.
Oo.
Kasi,
Akala ko sabi ng Globe, naka 5G na sila. Equipped.
Ay, nako. Hindi totoo yan.
Charot lang.
Ulot lang yan. Press release. Hindi
Oo.
totoo yan. Globe, are you
Pero-
listening to me right now?
Uy, pero
Nakaka-stress
Mikey,
kayo
ah.
Alam mo yan.
Pero Mikey, hindi kita gagatungan. Yung mga friends ko from Mindanao, from Cagayan de Oro, ganun din. Nahirapan sila sa Globe as in sobrang
Oo.
downer na talaga yung connectivity.
Diyos ko.
So ano to, buong
I
Pilipinas
can
Globe?
imagine.
Ano
Kasi
to?
nasa Metro Manila na nga ako. Ganito pa rin. Paano pag sa provinces or sa outer regions?
Right.
Outer regions. Ano to? The Great Unknown.
Oh.
Ganon.
Buong globe yan.
Anyway.
Apparently buong globe.
Ano po? Ewan ko sa inyo, Globe. Ayun.
Baka naman
Rant
Globe, no?
over.
Oo, baka naman.
So talagang minsan nakaka-apekto yung mga ganyang happenings sa ano natin, 'di ba? Mood natin, disposition natin.
Correct.
And the big question is, how do you actually get out of the rut, di ba? Kunyari, na bad trip ka na bad vibes ka na, tapos everyday parang may nangyayari.
Subscription to Globe.
Diba?
Ganyan. It's smart. Yun Madali lang yan.
Ano daw yung rot?
Ano daw yung rut?
Ano yung nahabol ng fat?
Alam ko yung rot. Ano yung exact
Ano yan?
Pag
Ano?
pag
Sige.
may nakita ka
Ibang rut yung sasabihin mo.
Sigurado ako. Sure.
Sige, tuloy mo. Dali.
Kunyari nasa daan ka, tapos ano.
May nakita kang rat.
Oo, akala ko
Oh,
pusa.
yes, the rat ako.
Ay, talaga?
Yeah, so I will not be driven.
You're the rot.
Sige, tuloy natin. Nawalan tayo ng viewer. Yes. So that's actually our topic for today.
Ginagawa natin ngayon, di ba?
Pero maganda yung question ni Ben eh. Parang nakaka-apekto yung connectivity natin dun sa yun nga, pakiramdam natin, ba term nga ni Ben, disposition eh, diba? So, magaling question ni Ben, parang what keeps you out of the rut? Or to simplify, what keeps you driven every day to wake up? Diba? Ano yung tanong sa kape? Yung commercial? Ano yung...
Para kanino ka bumaba?
Gano'ng kalakas po?
Ay, iba yun! Iba yun!
Yung 3 in 1.
Iba yun!
Gano'ng katapak po?
Nag-iba yung topic bigla.
Kaya ba? Okay. Okay.
Lumilihis pa rin eh, no? Kalihis.
Yun na nga eh. May ipapasok na eh.
Oo, okay na eh. Ay nako, alam mo, yun yung nagagawa ng Boracay talaga, no? So guys, pupunta kayo ng Boracay.
Oo nga, dahil mo endorphins kami.
At least walang masasaktan pag may endorphins.
Kanina.
Oo, correct. Correct.
Pero alam mo, yung endorphins, hindi lang naman yung mahanap sa exercise eh.
Right.
True.
Hanapin yun sa karagatan. Pag madaling araw.
That's true.
Mailap
Mailap nga lang. Minsan mailap. Pero nandyan yan.
True.
Pero early morning, magandang weather, maraming endorphins.
Yes, very true. Very true. So yun nga, parang we can probably share this video on our page. No, I shared this video with you guys, right? Parang it's a 15-minute video, a vlog actually. And the question dun sa vlog was, what keeps you out of the rut? Yung tipong pakiramdam na ang baba ng energy mo pagising mo, parang gusto mo nakahiga ka na lang the whole time. Parang yung usual na ginagawa mo, hindi mo na ginagawa kasi parang ayan, dyan lang naman. Ayaw mo nang buksan yung laptop mo. Ganyan. Kahit may mga pinapagmano sa'yo, ay mga ganong levels. Kasi ganun ako. Di ba? Kunwari, gawin mo na to.
Yun yung pinagdadaanan mo ngayon.
Grabe talaga. So, sobrang dinadrag ako. Ayun. So, pero yung question is, what keeps us energized, revitalized? Ano ba ginagawa natin para hindi tayo tamarin? O, yan. What keeps you driven every day?
Yes.
Grabe. With that question, I think we have to think of it from different perspectives, diba? In different contexts. No, like for example, what keeps you driven? Pag tinatanong yan sa akin, like, 'di ba parang hindi ka Hindi ka naman everyday motivated to move, work out, 'di ba, exercise, ganyan.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
minsan parang naghahanap ka talaga ng dahilan. Ba't ko nga ba 'to gagawin? Eh, para saan ba? Di
Right.
naman ako sasali sa competition. Happy naman ako. Diba? Confident naman ako. Di naman
Okay.
ako naghahanap ng kung ano pa, ganyan. And you know what I realized and what
Yeah.
I found that parang every single time that I look for motivation,
Yeah.
hindi ko siya nahahanap unless I start with action first.
Okay.
Yun yung
Okay.
nare-realize ko na parang uh, there are days that I find myself just, laying down, nakahiga lang ako, tas
Right.
hours pass by, tas parang sinasabi ko, okay, sige, I'll work out at this hour. Pero
Mm-hmm.
dadating na yung oras na yun. Tas, hindi siya dadating unless you really just say, F it, parang ganun. I'm gonna
Gawin
get
na.
up, I'm gonna move, gawin
Yeah.
na. And then, maya-maya makikita mo, oh, yeah, so this is why I'm doing this. Because
Right.
of this feeling. Parang you are reminded on why you're doing these things. Once you start doing it, parang ganun. Ang crazy, di ba? Parang minsan
I know.
naghahanap ka ng hugot mo, ng dahilan para gumalaw, pero makikita mo lang siya pag gumalaw ka na. So,
Correct.
ang weird. Ang
Correct.
weird.
Correct.
Yes. Parang
Do
ano
you
siya,
feel
no?
the
Chicken
same?
and egg situation na
Yes.
you look for the motivation so that you will have the energy to take action, or do you take action
Right.
first to find the motivation? So
Mm-mm.
parang
Correct.
I think that's a very good question, no? Kasi minsan motivation is also the result of um, the success of your actions in a way. We're
Mm-hmm.
using that loosely. But I think one way for us, no, and our audiences today, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat pala, is to, I think maganda nating ma-define and differentiate, I guess, motivation from drive. And
Mm-hmm.
I've read that pala, when we talk about motivation, it's more of the willingness to do something or the willingness to take action, whereas the drive is the planned action itself or the planned effort to take action. So parang what I
Mm.
realized is that a person may be motivated but not necessarily have the drive
Yeah.
or
Okay.
yung to actually, you know, put in an effort to do it.
Right.
But parang in a way, ang dating sa akin is that motivation could be an ingredient for drive. But again, in any case, like in Ben's case,
Mm-hmm.
parang your action can also cause your motivation
Correct.
because yung drive mo is yung nagpo-push sa'yo to actually act. Diba? So parang you have, one is the willingness, yung intention, and then the
Yeah.
other one is finding the energy or the push to do
Yeah.
something or to take
Mm-hmm.
action. So yung question natin is not necessarily how to get motivated, but how do you get one step further by keeping yourself driven para nandun yung action. Kasi you
Yeah.
may be motivated,
Yeah.
you may be having a lot of plans to do, diba?
Yep.
Inspired ka. It's not a question of inspiration, but it's a question of hindi ko magawa ang gawin, or I can't find the time or the energy. And I
Right.
guess that's
Yeah.
one thing that's important when we talk about being driven. So,
Agree.
kayo ba guys, what for you is more challenging or more easy to achieve? Is it the motivation or the drive? Yun yung question ko for the three of you.
Ang love ng question, Gwen. Ba't ba naging topic natin to?
Oo nga. Wala tayong drive sumagot.
Pinagsisihan. Ano?
Um,
Ano masagot?
but ito, parang to be like so open with you guys, no, and with our friends naman in the chat, viewing this, I think it's difficult to really establish either, especially now in the pandemic. Kasi ang
Correct.
hirap, nasa loob ka lang. It affects everything, your emotions, di ba? You seek for interaction outside, si Ben nga, lumalabas na sa maginhawa at lahat, di ba? Ganyan. And every opportunity that you get na makalabas lang, di ba, you'll maximize your time to talk to people and everything. Pero you can't do that all the time. As opposed to like before, 2019, talagang everyday umaalis tayo, di ba?
Yeah.
Nalala ko yung kwento ni Mikey dati na parang ngayon, parang napapahaba na yung oras nating matulog sa siesta. Pag weekend,
True, that's true.
diba?
That's true.
Tapos pag weekend, dati, umaalis talaga tayo. Ngayon parang natutulog tayo and all. But
Oo.
it becomes kind of too much na rin. I don't know with you guys, like ako, parang ano ba ito? Parang hindi na ako, And I try to distance myself. Sometimes, I try to do different things. I try to keep myself busy and all, ganyan. Pero hindi siya nakakatulong talaga. So, ang hirap sagutin nung tanong, pero what I do, tama si it resonates what Ben said, na parang I take action. Like, pag binuksan ko na yung laptop ko, tuloy-tuloy na ako eh. May ginagawa na ako lahat, diba? It starts with something that you need to do. For example, kakain ka. 11:00, hindi ka pala bababa. Breakfast ka, diba? Baba ka na. Inom ka na ng tubig. Ganyan. Even nga yung pag-ihi, grabe talaga, tinatamad mo. Sabi ko,
Talaga.
as in seryoso, as in, parang bahala na yung
Uy,
pantog ko
consider
dyan.
mo
Basta yung
mag-catheter kung gano'n.
Oh my gosh, sobrang
Or-
wala ka ng drive.
Or Arinola.
Or,
Pagkadiri naman nun.
I can recommend ka rest diapers, especially yung maxi overnight.
Sige,
Very
sige.
Oo. Ayun pala eh.
I'll check that out.
Mabibili sa inyo yung suking drugstore.
Correct. Pero yun nga, parang you start with something, like a task eh. Wag mong, kasi overwhelm ako sa mga ginagawa ko everyday. Kunwari, tatlo lang naman yung gagawin ko today, parang kukunin ko lang naman yung labahin ko. Parang, ano ba yan? Ang dami kong ginagawa. Seryoso.
Layo.
As in dati, pag magtitiklop ako ng damit, masaya, kasi maayos. Ngayon, nabibwisit ako kasi minumura ko yung damit ko talaga. As in, parang ano ba to? Ba't kailangan na pang tiklopin? Ganun. So yun nga, but you need to do these things to keep you motivated. Pag nakita mong maayos na yung gamit mo, nagawa mo na, natapos mo na yung kailangan mong tapusin, parang fulfillment siya kahit papaano, di ba? Hindi man siya ganun ka extraordinary kasi parang everyday mo na ginagawa, di ba? Pero it starts with action talaga. Ikaw talaga yung I don't say motivate kasi hindi ako ganun ka-driven, but I keep myself busy, like do different things, di ba? I try to like do new things, 'di ba? Iba-iba na lang, 'di ba? Lahat ng mga bagay na pwedeng gawin, 'di ba? Mag-crochet, mag-cross stitch lahat.
Nagawa mo na?
Hindi pa talaga. Soon. Kayo ba?
Si Mike, how do you get out of a rut?
I'm just thinking of the word kasi. Parang, what does it mean when you say rut kasi? Kasi parang, I feel na when from my interpretation, a rut is basically, ano na siya parang naging constant mo na siya. So, kumbaga, para if you were to reference a barrel, parang you're at the bottom of the barrel. Pero sometimes, hindi naman tayo necessarily nandun, di ba? Parang it's not a hopeless situation or something. Pero if you're talking about parang that sometimes parang yung katamaran, kasi katamaran is not necessarily a rut, di ba?
Yeah.
So,
sometimes it's a shift.
I like the point, Mike.
Di ba? But kasi pag katamaran, it's really, I guess it, different things work for different people. Pero sometimes, for me, action is the way to get out of that. But sometimes distraction is also another way to get out of that. Diba? So for example, if you're focusing, kasi sometimes parang we think na parang, tinatamad ako. Pero maybe the flip side of that coin is really parang, I just feel so comfortable that I don't want to break that comfort.
Yeah,
exactly.
Diba? So parang instead of like focusing on parang ayoko gumalaw. Something like that. Parang, comfortable nga ako. Pero, pagiging masaya rin ako pag tumayo ako, tapos maamoy ko yung mga bagong laban na damit or something. So, sige na, gagawin ko na yun. So, parang, alam mo yun. So, it's not really distraction per se, but it's more of diversion. I don't know. Something like that. I don't know. Parang distraction just sounded nice. Kasi may action na word doon eh. Pero sometimes it diba eh. Kasi parang, if for example, you're focused too much on the bad things that are happening. So distract yourself from the bad things that are happening. So find something good. Or find something that will maybe lift your spirits. So part of that could be maybe watching something, which is an action in itself. And part of that could be maybe going out and, eating something that makes you happy, like ramen. So for example, but there's also action involved in it. So pretty much, I agree that there are actions that should be done. Kasi um, I was thinking earlier na parang another thing that we could do is parang refocus our thoughts. Pero that in a way is also some form of action. Maybe not physical action, but some kind of mental activity that you do, di ba?
Yeah.
So
Right.
siguro ano, long story short, I agree na there has to be something that you do, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, or
Mm.
maybe just a different parang yun nga, parang different thought process and all of that. So yeah, that's something that I usually do. Um, pero I guess if we're talking about yung actual rut, siguro the best advice, or the best thing that one can do for oneself is to talk with someone. Diba? Kasi maybe
Yeah.
there has to be some other perspective on things.
True.
Kasi probably the
Yes.
reason why you're in a rut is parang you feel that there's no way to get out of it. Or probably you
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
feel na parang yun na yung ano mo eh. Yun na
Yeah.
yung situation or
Uh,
yun na yung magiging
yun na
constant
yun. Oo.
setting mo, di ba? So, talk it with someone. You know? I
Yeah.
mean, that just might
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
And when it turns
I
out that the person you talk to is in the same boat.
mas
So
malala
dalawa
pa.
na kayo.
Oh.
Pero there's also some ano
Yeah,
eh,
that's
there's also a
true.
benefit in that eh. Kasi in a way,
Mm,
it's comforting to know that you're
Mm.
not the only one going through the same through
Yeah,
that thing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Especially sa
there is
ngayon,
some
'di ba?
true.
Oo.
especially sa ngayon, di ba? And a lot of individuals, probably one of the worst feelings that you can get is to feel that you are alone.
Mm-mm.
Sabi nga nila, misery loves company. Why do people say that? Because
Yeah.
people like to feel that there is someone else who is experiencing the same thing. And if you
Mm-hmm.
are in the same boat, then most likely you can comfort each other, and hopefully you can provide some form of helpful advice to each other.
Yeah. And get through it together, 'di ba? Yun naman yun.
Yeah. Sa mga tropa natin. Palakpak. Char.
Yes, tropa. Gusto ko mag-belated happy birthday to Mark, Ryan.
Yeah!
Yes. Di ko pa rin nababati si Mark. Happy birthday,
Hi,
Mark!
Alexa.
Belated happy
Happy
birthday.
Belated
birthday.
happy birthday, Mark!
Ako,
Baka
naman.
naman.
Baka naman. Diba?
Pizza.
Wait,
And hi also to Lesa. Wala.
Lessa is also
Lessa
here.
is
As
here
always.
too. Hello,
Ay,
Lessa.
yun pala, Lessa, Diyos ko, kasi nagbabrew na talaga ako every day or every morning pag breakfast. So, I might order may malalaking pack ba sila, Lessa?
Ng AJ's? I
Yes.
think so. I think they have.
Dark coffee, yung
It's
tipo
anything that you mentioned that. Kasi the
yeah.
other day, I think it was actually yesterday. Oh no, the day before yesterday.
Right.
I found one more. it was hiding in all of the
Uy, talaga.
mess that is my room. So parang, oh my god,
Okay.
I still have one drip on bag. Or
Yeah.
so I ate it the other day. And I just
Cool.
came from SM that time kasi nag-register
Okay.
na ako, di ba? So,
Right.
basically, I bought yung cheese puffs ng Contis na super favorite namin ni Lisa.
Harap! Uy,
So,
namiss
we
ko
bought
yun.
cheese puffs.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
paired with the coffee, sarap ng merienda ko.
Have that.
Hey,
I love
babe,
it.
thank you so much.
Naramdaman ko yun.
Yeah.
Diba?
Or ako nag-explore ako ng mga iba-ibang dark coffee or mga brew talaga. May mga barako, may mga halo-halo, Arabica, Robusta, ganyan. Wala, natututo na ako sa mga ganun. Alam ko naman,
Robusta?
oo!
Mm.
Diba? Iba-iba siya eh.
Mm. Not just at 7-Eleven. Char.
Yeah. Don't start with me, Charla.
Start with him. With
Yes.
them.
There you go. Nakasali ko. Charla.
Kasali mo rin naman siya eh. So why not?
True. Pero nasarapan ako dun sa coffee ni Lesa ha. Promise. No joke yun.
AJ's Pantry, guys, para sa mga naghahanap dyan ng barakong kape.
Yeah.
Yes, fresh from Batangas.
It reminds me. I meant to post it. I haven't yet, so I'm gonna do it right now.
Go. Yes. Itag mo ang
By the way,
ages. Yes.
Mark is saying something.
Yes, I like it. Yan. Sabi ni Mark, getting out of our rut is a conscious effort. Big task. but
True.
rewarding when done successfully.
Success.
Easier said than done though. Gusto ko yung may disclaimer
Correct.
sa huli. Yes, definitely easier said than
Oh,
done.
Yeah. And
yes, yes,
I
yes.
guess, because he mentioned the word successfully, parang it also brings to mind na parang we might not just be in an emotional rut, but it can be like a career rut as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Di ba? Or it
True.
can be in a relationship rut. Maybe you're in a new relationship or maybe you're in a relationship right now tapos parang feeling mo na parang, oh, medyo where are we going, di ba? Especially for
Right.
the new lovers out there. Yung mga
Yeah.
nakadiscover ng mga online loves nila, Charles.
Yes.
Diba? Kasi I
Or
know, I know,
pandemic love affairs.
Sila ko connected, correct ba? Parang
Oy.
parang they got into relationships when the pandemic started. So,
Right, right.
parang, yun, I'm just saying that there are different, I guess, aspects of a rap.
True.
That's true. Because sometimes, diba, you want to get out of a rut, so you do something, but then again, you fail at that something. So parang mas lalo ka pa tuloy tatama rin. You get now in a deeper hole.
Right,
No?
right, right, right.
Parang mas mahirapan ka.
Is it the same hole or
a different hole.
or a different?
It depends. It depends.
It depends on the
depends.
whole, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Like, case in point, like itong elections ng registration namin ni Mikey. Ako talaga nung January 4th, tinatamad talaga ako as in parang ano ba to? Kailangan ko bang mag-register? Wala naman tong silbi tong boto ko, 'di ba? Mananalo pa rin naman ng mga trapo. Charot lang. 'Di ba? So parang I was there but I really woke up like 6 a.m. kasi sinabihan ako ng taga Comelec na agahan mo sir kasi ganito ganyan. So punta ko doon, buti nga si Mikey 20 minutes lang. It took me like 2 hours, 1 hour yata kasi walk-in ako scheduled kasi si Mikey, 'di ba? But it was fulfilling kasi 'di ba?
Yeah.
Masaya. Masaya siya. Kasi natapos 'di ba? It's an admin task and then na-fulfill mo ng maayos. Tama yung sabi ni Mark na parang it was done successfully. Si Mikey nga nag-photocopy pa at lahat, nag-print pa but it ended well, 'di ba? Ang worry mga Mikey, 'di ba? Baka matenga ka dun kasi nga application tong sayo, 'di ba? But hey, we're happy voters now in 2022. Lagot kayo dyan, yung mga trapo na sinasabi ko sa inyo. Mawala kayong
May
It is the
suggestion si
year of
Mark.
the hair flip. Diba?
Yes!
Yes.
Pag-usapan natin yan later. Char lang.
Okay.
Diba? O, ganon. Ano sabi
To
ni
get
Mark?
out of the rut, hanap ng karat.
Nakakainis.
Mama,
My
ikaw
God.
Mama, sinasabi ko sa'yo. Ay, pero mag-agree ako.
Nakakainis. Again, it's different strokes for different
Different
people.
folks.
So,
Yes.
Totally.
Exactly.
do what's for you.
Yes.
Different stroke.
Do you, Char? Do you, mama?
I mean, if you can, if you're that
I mean, if it makes you happy and all. Uy, mag-hi muna tayo kay brother, Mikey.
Hello.
Yeah.
Brother. Hello.
Brother.
Hello. Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Brother, how do you get out of a rut? What do you do?
Nga.
So
True.
for you guys, what's the most recent that you consider is a successful getting out of a rut? Yan. Ano yung
Si Gwen.
pinaka-recent siguro na ano nyo?
Siguro ko si Gwen.
share.
May isasagot talaga si Gwen.
Ikaw, Gwen.
Wala.
Or maybe,
Actually,
at this point you are in one and you want to talk about it. It's up to you.
yeah. Actually, I do. I agree with what Mikey earlier said about doing something to distract. One word that comes to mind sa akin is interrupting the rut. Kasi parang ang understanding ko is you're in a rut. Interrupt the rut. Hindi, parang ang understanding ko kasi sa kanya is for something in your life or an aspect of your life or an activity in your life to be considered as a rut, parang it's a pattern or a habit that becomes no longer enjoyable to you. Parang
Right.
ganon, no? So, it could be your routine. It could be, like Mikey said, no, your career. You might be in a rut because it's a pattern of behavior. It's a pattern. It's a routine. Pero parang wala ka ng interest or hindi ka na happy doing it because it becomes so monotonous. And at some point, yes, in this pandemic, like quite recently, I kind of felt like I think I am in a rut. Maybe this is, saktong-sakto lang sa akin yung topic na to. But,
Yeah.
like I said, yung sinabi ni Mike kanina, interruption, that was what I was planning or thinking about the past days, no, na how do I interrupt this rut? How do I interrupt? Di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi parang,
Yes.
I guess
Gusto ko yun.
depende yun sa how excuse me, ano ba yun?
Gusto ko yung may
Marut.
baka.
Marut ang voice.
May voice filter? May voice filter ba yan?
Oo. Hindi, parang, I think depende kung gaano kalaki nung rut ng life mo. Like, for example, if it's just an activity,
Wait
for
lang.
example, ano?
Tawa siya ako.
Sige, tawa mo yan.
Wait, very sorry.
Depende-
Nung sinabi ni
Depende
Ben, nung sinabi ni Ben na filter ng boses, akala ko talaga totoo nag-filter ka ng boses.
Oh my God.
Nahak pala
Mamaya
talaga yun.
mag-filter tayo.
Yeah. Sarap.
Ayan, so,
Sorry. You were saying depende ganos kalaki yung rat.
gaano kalaki?
No?
Like, hindi naman siguro gaano kalaki. It's more of gaano kalawak. Kasi, for example, if you're talking about just an aspect of your life that's in a rut, then maybe it's easy to interrupt that particular aspect or activity. But if, let's say, I'm sure, no, there could be a lot of people nitong pandemic na talagang lahat ng aspeto ng buhay ko in rut because hindi ako makagalaw, hindi ako makalabas because of the conditions or the circumstances na kailangan nasa bahay ka lang. So, it's easy to get stuck in monotony sa mga activities mo, like yung work mo or yung relationship mo, or diba, kasi you're not seeing each
Yeah.
other, then it becomes routinary, diba, and the things
Right.
that you do, you wake up,
Rutinary.
rutinary, correct.
I
So,
love it.
parang tuloy, to answer
Keep it
Ben's
coming.
question, nandun ako sa interrupting it talaga. Like, let's say, if let's say you feel like you're in a rut dun sa routine mo sa bahay, then perhaps it would be good to look for activities that's not part of your routine. Diba?
Yeah.
Kasi it's easy to say, maghanap ka ng hobby. Pero kung para sa'yo, nag-a-add sa rut yung sa bahay pa rin yung hobby ko, ganun pa rin. Parang it's still the same environment. So, I guess
True.
depende sa confines, depende sa characteristics ng rut na that's causing your demotivation or the lack of drive. So, I think for me, what I'm saying is it's probably important to understand the nature of the rut that you're in.
Right.
Okay.
What aspect of your life, or is it just a small thing? Is it just one aspect or one activity, or is it your entire situation, your direct environment? Parang dapat ma-understand mo yung nature niya and yung gaano siya kalawak to understand what kind of interruption or
Exactly.
what kind of distraction you're going to need that would help that. Yeah, that's
Okay.
for me. I'm still
agree.
in that journey, so hindi ko pa
I
alam
agree.
what can help. So, yeah. How
I
about you
agree.
guys?
Gusto ko yung napaka-process-oriented ni Gwenny dun. Parang,
Yeah.
Hindi na
Sobra.
sa talaga ako, honestly.
Correct.
And I'm trying to figure it out too.
Oh, we're here for you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Pero
Uy,
parang
alam niyo,
lahat
buti pa si brother.
Yes. I wait
TikTok
for
lang
the God to get tired of me.
Sino mag-a-adjust?
brother, ikaw na talaga malakas. Ikaw na malakas.
Challenge.
brother. Yeah.
Challenge mo yung challenge mo yung rat. O, bala ka dyan.
Wala ka dyan. Napagod ka sa akin. Diba?
Matira matibay, ganun.
Pero matibay.
Si brother na talaga malakas. Diba?
So don't get out of the rut. Let the rut get out of you, ganon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to pick up from what Nico mentioned earlier. Sabi niya, kung gagawa ka ng something to disrupt the rut or yung cycle or yung routine mo, Sabi niya mag-start ka with a small task, with something that won't really take much of your energy or effort or alam mo yun, hindi ka masyado mag-expend ng
Drain.
resources mo. Oo, or
Right.
madidrain. Kasi nga, you're trying to get out of something that has maybe dragged you for a long time or has
True.
kept going for a long time already. So it will help, diba? It will
Yeah.
really help. Even sa and that's why in and I realize maybe that's why warm ups are important
True.
in working out and in exercising, diba? You don't jump and do the hard exercises right then and there. So kailangan
Right.
pagpainit ka muna bago ka
Yeah.
umaksyon.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, parang it's also ano eh, tama, di ba? Parang you take it in, kaya nga may saying rin na baby steps, di ba? Parang
Mm-mm.
you can't expect, for example, to go from 0 to 60, di ba, in the same second, di ba? So parang
Yeah.
kailangan may build up talaga yan. So very true. It's all in the details, di ba? Or all in the process. Parang you start off with something that you can handle, you can manage, and if that feels comfortable, then you can go ahead and push further until such time na parang you are actually here now versus where you were
Mm.
before. So that makes sense. So, like for example, getting up in the morning, you start with
Mhm.
sitting up. Sit up on your bed. You can check your phone, etc. But at least you're sitting up, diba? You
Yeah.
changed your position. So parang you're not as maybe comfy, or you're not as, let's say, ano parang supine.
Cemented.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, cemented to your, or married to your bed. Diba? At least may separation kahit papaano. And then maybe you wanna, siguro stand up for a little bit, maybe look outside your window, diba? Or go to the terrace if you have one, etc. And then eventually go down and then have breakfast or whatever. So tama, you can actually do that. It doesn't, parang you don't jump out of bed and go straight to cooking. Parang,
Yeah.
doesn't need
Sabi,
to work like that.
right, right, right. Ayun, speaking of that, no, like, sabi kasi ni Ben, exercise naman, mahirap mag-set ng routine eh. But I guess, kasi, sa tao din, like, hindi kasi lahat driven talaga to exercise kasi nakakatama, nakakapagod. But if you set it as a goal, like kunwari ako, every week dapat at least may 3 beses ako nag-exercise o nag-workout talaga sa bahay. Pag nawalan ako ng nabawasan ako ng isang araw, nababad trip talaga ako. So since hindi ako happy, pag nabawasan, so dapat every other day, dapat meron akong workout, dapat nagpapapawis ako and all. So, alam mo yun, parang you have to set that goal and retranslate it as something that will make you happy and satisfied at the end of the day, di ba? Aside from that, siguro, ako right now, I feel excited whenever like I start on my vlog at the moment. Parang dati kasi tinatamad ako, di ba? Parang ano ba itong mga pinag-upload ko ng mga video? Ang tsatsaka, naiirita ako, ganyan. And the perfectionist in me, the Virgo in me, and you know that, Mike, well,
Mm-hmm.
pero I always
Uh,
go for perfection. Pero I watched this video. Now, if you're about to start a vlog on YouTube, don't expect it to be perfect. Don't expect it to be like fine and alam mo yun,
okay.
parang andun na. Parang just keep on producing. Kasi yun naman yung goal ng YouTube pag-upload ng videos. It's for you to create. And tama eh. Kasi like, what I value, and I'd like to pick up from what Gwenny said, parang you have to ask yourself, what do you value ba? What motivates you? Ako naman kasi, I need to create, I need to do, I need to produce, and I need to see that in front of me, and I need that to be appreciated by people at least. Alam mo yun? So, I need to retranslate and reprogram myself into doing something that really makes me, produce something. And I think vlogging is a good example kasi it can be anything, right? Tapos,
Yeah.
upload ka lang, and then whether may manood or wala, di ba? Parang okay lang. At the moment, wala pa ako sa point na, sabi nga dun sa vlog, dun sa video, sa YouTube, no? Parang you don't have to expect or don't have to go for numbers or subscribers. Just keep on producing. Kasi yun naman yung goal, pinaka-goal ng pag-vlog eh. So I think at least that's for me, no? Kasi I need to
Okay.
parang reprogram myself for doing something na hindi ko pa nagagawa before. Ngayon, limited yung ginagawa natin eh, especially work, di ba? Parang we can't really force ourselves to do tasks na hindi naman hinihingi sa atin. Sayang lang din effort natin. So, ang ending, nakahiga lang tayo. Pero, di ba, we can do a lot with the limited internet that we have, di ba? Parang we can still,
We can,
Globe, baka naman, no? And by the way, kami ni Mike, Globe, kami pareho. Namumroblema talaga kami, no? Baka naman Globe, no? So,
ka
ang,
naman. Baka lang.
ang Thursday Talks, no? PLDT at Globe na ang nirereklamo. Ano kayang next, no? Na provider? Char.
Wala
Oh my
na.
God.
Okay na
Diyos
yun.
ko. Kita na.
Oo.
Diyos ko.
Hayaan niyo na converge, keep it up lang, ha? Huwag tayong huwag tayong papakain sa sistema.
Sorry, natawa ako. I read somewhere. It's news by Philippine Star yata, and there's this band in the US yata or the UK na ang tawag sa kanila ay Converge. And they have an
Okay.
Facebook page. Dinagsasalo ng mga messages ng mga Pilipino nagrereklamo. Parang ba't daw nawala?
Kawawa naman.
Oh my God.
Sila.
The
Kawawa
best.
ka, di ba?
Okay, the best talaga yung mga kababayan natin na gano'n, no? Yung mapunta lang sa isang page pangalan without really checking that page.
And
Ay,
another
nako.
thing, di ba? Parang I think there's a usual lack of fact checking, or I
Yeah.
think it also boils down to katamaran. Or
Yeah.
sorry, siguro I don't want to put down people, siguro. So instead of katamaran, let's just say na parang they got used to things just being easy or spoon fed them, that they don't
Yeah.
really bother or take the effort to either check it, verify, corroborate, or triangulation.
Can we say that?
Good habit.
Can we say that that's a rut? Yung being a victim of, not checking things. Is that a digital rut or something, or just a
Yeah.
cycle? Ganyan.
Well,
I think it's
Paradigm.
a habit.
well, that's the thing, diba? Kasi I think one of the perspectives of a rut is basically that it is a vicious cycle, diba? So parang nag-endless loop ka na lang dun eh. So parang that's why it's a rut, because it's not something that we can get. I mean, you're in it and you're not out of it. So alam mo yun. Yeah, we can definitely view it like that.
What if, guys? What if you're not aware that you are in a rut?
Then
What do you do?
just be
That's
happy.
actually a very good question. Valid
Di
question.
ba? Parang, alam mo yun, you're feeling down, you're out of energy, you're always tired. Pero hindi mo alam kung bakit.
Hindi mo
Parang alam mo yun.
ma-identify.
Oo.
Yes.
But
Yun.
I think
That's
there
why
are a
it's
lot of
with
people.
someone.
Diba? Oo nga eh. Kailangan din talaga ma-process mo yan with someone eh.
Yeah.
Then
Actually,
then you talk.
magandang ano natin, mention natin yung term na rut, because it's easy for people to say that they might be saying that they're depressed when what they actually
Right.
mean is that they're in a rut.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a
Yeah.
choice of defining it also,
That makes all the
understanding
sense.
what you're in.
Di ba, sinasabi naman natin, I think in one of our modules, na parang it's very important to be able to identify what you're feeling, because if you're not able to put a name to something, then you won't be able to sort of like plan out how you're gonna manage that feeling, di ba? Kasi parang kung hindi mo alam kung ano nararamdaman mo, paano mo yun susolusyonan? Hindi mo
Yes.
ma-identify, di ba?
Correct.
So that's why it's also very important, di ba? Parang we not just introspect, kasi minsan limited rin lang yung awareness natin, like you said, di ba? Parang maybe hindi tayo aware sa nangyayari or sa nangyayari natin. So limited yung awareness natin, or secondly, baka naman hindi natin alam. So it's very important talaga na we talk to someone about it, because having that other perspective on what you are feeling or going through might just give you some enlightenment, or might just give some clarity to you as well.
Mhm.
So very important. Kaya nga, di ba, sa mga psychologists or psychiatrists, when you talk to them, parang they're always telling you or asking people like, oh, what did you feel? Di ba? And that's basically identification. Parang you
Yes.
search yourself, and then you think in your head, and then you process, I felt sad. Why did you feel sad? Mga ganun bagay, di ba? Because it's very important to be able to determine the problem before you can actually solve it.
Correct. I agree 100%.
But one thing that people have to remember is they don't have to be afraid of these emotions, di ba?
True.
Di ba kasi yan yung isa sa mga na-encounter ng mga tao ngayon. When there is a negative emotion, parang it's considered something bad, or parang, di ba, they don't want it, they don't want to feel it. Pero minsan parang hindi natin siya masyadong na-acknowledge. Kaya hindi natin ma-feel ng husto kung ano yung dapat nating ma-feel in a certain situation, because we don't want it. Parang ganun.
Yeah.
Medyo lumalayo ako, pero yun.
But what I'm hearing from you guys is, I think, for those watching also with us tonight, I think we have to start off with assessing and reassessing ourselves, right? Parang ano ba talaga nararamdaman natin at the moment, right? Why are we in a rut?
Mm.
Why are we staying in bed? Why, ba't tayo tinatamad? So parang determine that, whether it's an emotion, it's a cause, 'di ba? Parang do problem solving and decision making, kung ano man 'yan, 'di ba? Kung hindi mo na ma-determine, I think you can go to the next step. You can talk to someone. Kasi I think talking to
Yes.
people, like ito nga ngayon, nag-uusap tayo, di ba? Parang it's making a lot of sense to me now. Na parang, oh nga, no, tama. Parang we're taking different perspectives. And talking to like just one person will make you feel better kasi, oh nga, pareho pala kayo ng pinagdadaanan. Di ba? Minsan magsasabi ka kanina, di ba, before we went live, sabi ko, Gwenny, I feel kind of in my rut right now. Then si Gwen din pala, kind of feel better. Na
Yeah.
parang, may karamay pala ako. Yung ganun. And probably baka yung taong yan has been in a rut and then may mabigay na advice sa'yo. Third, siguro that we can do is really, sabi nga ni Ben kanina, parang do something. Like push yourself to do something. Parang do some sort of action, like baby steps, small steps that you can start working on, di ba? I think yun yung parang
Mm.
pinaka-practical na pwedeng gawin, di ba? If you are to
Baby
like
steps.
be more concrete about things, kasi yun nga tama sabi niyo tatlo, parang relative kasi talaga ang rut na sinasabi, kasi depende yun sa characteristics, 'di ba? Depende rin sa context, 'di ba? I think Mikey was made mention of that, o sino ba nagsabi nun? Yan, so context, ano ba yung rut na sinasabi mo diyan, 'di ba? Baka naman mas mabigat.
Oo.
Mm.
Tama din sabi ni Gwenny, baka naman tama yung consideration na baka depression na pala yun, ilang araw na pala siyang
Yep.
nalulungkot, or mababa yung pakiramdam mo, or baka hindi naman pala araw-araw siyang mababa yung emotions niya. Yan. Uy, but ito na,
Yeah.
excited ako. Siguro ano lang to, parang it's going to be, naisip ko lang bigla. I don't know if you're gonna agree with me, guys. This is going to be probably another session in February, since in a way, ang topic naman natin for the month of January is more of self-building. Kaya nga ito yung mga topics natin, di ba? So let's go back
Yes.
to ourselves first. And then next week, it's going to be another topic that we will decide on. But it's going to be about the self. In February, since Love Month naman, at napag-agreehan naman natin, we will have our 2.0, or Love Languages 2.0, di ba? So
Yeah.
parang
Yes.
ito yung si Gwen ang
Plans.
Ayan. Ay, si Lance is here.
Exciting. I'm so
Yes.
excited.
Yes.
Hello, Lance.
And si Gwen. Ayan si Lance. Hi, Lance. Ay, magkakaroon kami ng Love Languages 2.0, first week of
Yes.
February. And yan. And then I think good that Mikey made mention of emotions. May nakita ka I don't know if clinical psychologists do this, pero they have some sort of parang chart ng emotions. Merong mga core
Mm.
emotions that we know of, like disgust, sadness, anger. Pero yung anger, yung isang emotion na yun, magbabranch magbabranch out pa siya to other sub-emotions. And those
Yeah.
sub-emotions will help you determine and process things. Kasi minsan sinasabi natin, uy, malungkot ako. Pero what do you exactly mean by malungkot? May mga
Yes.
specific branches or specific sadness pala yun. And from there, you'll be able to figure out. And also, it will help you establish a stronger relationship with your partners, right? Kasi kunwari, nagtatampo ka. Tapos sabi ng partner mo, oh, ba't ka nalulungkot? Basta nalulungkot ako, tatampo ako sa'yo. Ba't ka
Yes.
nalulungkot?
Yes.
Diba yung ganun? At least you'll be able to
Yes.
communicate. So I was thinking parang we can probably have that session. We can probably invite like someone, like an expert who can explain to us yung chart.
Hey, why not?
Diba? Kasi emotions ang pag-uusapan natin sa February. Good, then
Yeah.
Mikey made mention of that. Yes.
And since you mentioned that, one of the things that I remembered is, or one of the things that I thought of is, na parang it's good to be able to identify what the emotion is, because
Yeah.
who knows, parang your actual emotion might not be as bad as you think it is. Parang, kasi when we say depression kasi, people use it very loosely. Pero
Loosely.
depression
Yes.
should actually be clinically diagnosed.
Right.
So unless you're diagnosed as depressed, you can't really say you're depressed. You're
Correct.
sad.
Yes.
Or you're
Yeah.
disappointed,
Right.
or you're angry, or you're frustrated. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of emotions which
True.
are not necessarily depressed. So, if you are not depressed, then, well, for me, I would feel good if I was told na, hindi ka depressed. Ano ka lang, galit ka lang. Kasi,
Yeah.
inggitera ka. Hindi mo nakuha yung gusto mo. Ganun. Alam mo yun?
Right.
So, something like that.
Or it's
So,
probably a strong emotion, strong negative emotion like intense jealousy and you can't do anything
Right.
about it.
Yes.
You
Right.
feel like
Right.
you're so depressed,
Pero
Oo.
on the
right?
flip
Or
side
you're
naman,
undergoing a breakup.
Yep.
right. Pero on the flip side naman, maybe people are under,
Di-
what do you call
un-
that? Under
Uh,
valuing what
mining.
they're feeling,
Rating. Mhm.
yeah.
'di ba? Kasi parang
Yeah.
Maybe
maybe
undiagnosed na
correct,
hindi na nila
maybe
alam.
clinically depressed na pala sila, pero sa kanila hindi
Yeah.
okay lang ako. 1 month pa
Yeah.
lang naman.
Diba?
Sandali. 1 month ka ng ganyan? Hala,
Oo.
araw-araw, di ba? So parang maybe that will also help you in order to seek the help, or seek or to find or get the help that you need. So very, very important talaga.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
able to identify how they're feeling.
Wait, ako, I would, let's seek out for like experts siguro outside. Ako, I would prefer to invite someone like a clinical psychologist talaga. Kasi I
Yes,
think
let us.
they'd be able to like discuss these emotions, and I prefer someone who's really licensed. Kasi tama si Mikey, we
Oh.
can't really discuss these things loosely
At
based
may
on
tanong talaga ako sa psychologist or psychiatrist niya.
yeah.
Ang unang tanong ko,
Ah.
totoo ba na yung primary emotions ay nakikita sa in and out? Sila ba?
Oo nga. Tama.
Nakakainis.
Si Joy,
Kuya,
Tama ba yun?
si Joy,
Bakit ganun ang
sadness.
kulay?
yes! Pero yun, ako, siguro, if you have friends na clinical psychologists talaga, I'll try to reach out to some friends I know of. Kung pwede natin, kasi may bayad talaga sila eh. We can probably just have them like about like 20 minutes siguro. Then we can talk about like emotions, specific emotions. Ako honestly we see different assessments online, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's insight, pero for you to claim that these are valid based on how you
Yeah.
process things, right? It's kind of
Mhm.
it's really dangerous kasi emotions ng tao
True.
yan. So
It
ako
is
I'd prefer, I guess you guys will agree with me that we should get like someone na kanang clinical talaga, kanang dahil kanang
Yes.
Kanang,
nagbisaya bigla.
Like,
karon.
yeah. Ganyan din ako dahil.
Yan.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yun.
agree. Kasi, I mean, that's the danger with just going by what you see online. Kasi, di ba,
Yeah.
parang you don't have anyone to corroborate or to, let's say, confirm. Di ba? Like, for example, a lot of people, they self-diagnose when they're sick. They go to WebMD, and then they feel na yun na yun.
Right.
But then again, there might be some considerations that you are not aware of, which only a
True.
doctor would be able to ask you and
True,
would be
true.
able to look at. So parang it's very important that we might be able to use it as sort of like, okay, it may be an indicator, but it's not necessarily the diagnosis or
Right.
the truth. So, might as well go to an expert. Consult.
True.
Mhm.
True. And although we made mention also of love languages, yung love language kasi, it's not even tested. Like, walang psychometrics kasi dun eh, parang ginawa lang siya talaga, no? So hindi siya scientifically tested at all. So it's good insight, but we don't really have to believe totally na yun talaga yun kasi it might change. Kaya nga, di ba, dinidiscuss natin. So yun. Let's just be cautious and careful with the assessments that we see online. And di ba, ang sinasabi nga ng mga clinical psychologists, they will let you take several assessments to validate kung ano talaga yung predisposition mo at the
Yeah.
moment. Hindi mo siya basta-bastang test lang talaga. Tsaka, depends on the test eh. Like, we're familiar with MBTI, di ba? Yung mga personality test na mga
Yes.
ganyan. Uy, alam niyo ba, hindi lahat hindi talaga siya, it's not the best test or assessment ever. Kasi it's
True.
based on psychoanalysis. And if you can ask any clinical psychologist about this. They make use of other personality assessments or tests like yung Big Five personality test. Hindi siya MBTI per se. Alam mo yun? So I think it's good that we ask really an expert, how to assess our emotions and what we're feeling. Yes. Yan. Ang dami ko
Yes.
sinabi. Sure.
Baka natin yun, dahil.
Parang parang mga nagsibagsakan ng mga graba. Palakpak ba yun?
Okay, hindi.
And I think in
Hey,
terms
guys.
of yes, go ahead.
Go.
No. I was just gonna mention that that in terms of people who are high in their emotional quotient, it's really because they are able to specifically identify what it is that they're feeling.
Process, yeah.
Process it, and that's why they're
True.
better able to manage it. So that's really just what I wanted to say. Ben.
Yeah. Pero hindi kasi lahat may ability to manage and identify emotions,
Right.
di ba? Swerte na lang talaga kung
Yeah.
mataas
Oo.
natin.
It's really a
Yes.
different ballgame, no, when you talk about emotions. Kasi I know some people na cognitively, it's different when you're processing cognitively and when you're processing
Right.
emotions, because
Yeah.
there's
Agree.
emotions can be complex for some people, 'di ba? And when you speak about emotions, you speak about self-awareness, 'di ba? Yung it's one thing to feel and it's another to understand, to define and understand what it is you're feeling and what's causing
Mm,
that feeling.
right.
So that's why I guess processing emotions can be a different thing. And when one is in a rut, or let's say undergoing several emotions that cause you to be in a rut, then that's why I guess sometimes nagiging difficult to get out of the rut, because it's difficult for you to understand the emotions that are involved in your situation, eh. Parang, 'di ba, parang hindi ko alam. I think this is Ben's question, eh. Maybe not a lot of people are aware that they're in a rut. Kasi
Yeah.
my question kasi is, does that mean that everything that is routinary or constant is a rut? Eh, hindi naman. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that something is constant or consistent. It doesn't mean that that is a rut, right? So,
Mm.
Yep.
for us to, I guess, qualify that you are in a rut, then perhaps we need to define it properly. Is it with the lack of goals, the lack of interest, or the lack you're not no
Mm,
longer productive, you're no longer successful, or nawawalan ng meaning or purpose yung routine na yon or yung pattern na yon, or is it holding you back from being productive or being successful in something? So then nagiging relevant yung question ni Ben na not a lot of people are aware that they're in a rut, because maybe yun nga hindi nila ma-define yung nararamdaman nila at the moment. So
mm,
maybe not everyone can conclude na I'm in a rut, diba? It's not as easy as that.
Yeah.
Others can say na um sobrang they can think of all sorts of things like napapagod na ako or nagsasawa na ako, di ba? Those are
yeah.
a lot of words na similar, but identifying which is which, I
Yeah.
think is the challenge there. And
Right.
knowing what the goal is, what do you want to be, where do you want to be, and what your situation is, yung gap na yon.
Yeah.
Ito
Mhm.
gusto tong situation ko,
Agree.
ito yung gusto ko sa situation ko. So,
True.
even if you can't identify rut ba to, or maybe it's something else, depression or what, I guess one thing for me, now that I'm thinking about lahat ng mga sinabi ninyo, is to see if it's something that you want to see yourself in and compare it
Yes.
to where you are now, and to
Oh
maybe
yeah.
measure that gap,
You hear it.
sana.
Oh my
Oo,
God, you
so
hear it.
kung
You read my
gano'n,
mind, Gwen.
yun lang. Sige, go,
Agree with my
tuloy mo yung nasa
Hindi,
mind
go,
mo.
go. But yeah,
Yun
yeah,
lang
I
naman.
agree. Habang, nung sinasabi mo yun, you know what, that exact moment. Yung tungkol sa gap, I think that mini differentiates it eh, kapag,
yeah.
kasi 'di ba, mag-ingat din tayo kasi di natin alam bawat tao iba-iba naman ang degree. But
True.
I guess yung magiging differentiator lang kung if you are just in a rut or is it something already serious talaga is yung 'di ba may qualifiers kasi yan eh. Tsaka depende sa pinagdadaanan mong psychological something, 'di ba? Or mental
Mm,
challenge at the moment. Depende. Pero I guess kapag hindi pa naman ganun na aapektuhan yung basic functioning mo in all
yun.
aspects, yung social man or sa sarili mo kahit papaano naman productive ka and all. So maybe that is a rut.
Right.
And then that's the time that you can consider doing the things that the four of us talked about here, no? But then if it's really something else, no, if parang sobrang dark na ng paligid and all and things like that. So medyo kailangan mong anuhin yan. Seryosohin na at mag-take ka ng
Mm-mm.
professional
At may
steps.
pag-quote talaga sila sa sa'yo, no? Good that you're aware. Now you can do necessary modifications.
Oh
Ayun.
man,
Char,
Love
ano
boy,
ito?
private
it.
chat,
Yun na.
private chat natin talaga yan, Lesa. she
Or
was
may recall si Lesa. Diba?
she was telling me something about herself, mga pinagdadaan niya ganyan. And
Nice.
parang yun yung naging response
Mm.
ko sa kanya. Oo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
Love
I guess
it.
uy, tsaka mahalaga, 'di ba, na alam mo na yun yung sabi ni Gwen, tama yun, na parang alam mo, gusto mo na may gusto kang gawin or may gusto kang puntahan or may gusto kang mangyari pero hindi nangyayari dahil sa isang bagay, 'di ba? So parang
Ano
yun yung
yun, Ben?
yun yung parang isang
Ano
rut
gusto mo
na
mangyari?
yun yung
Ganun.
yun yung isang characteristic ng rut, I guess, na constant in whatever kind of rut it is. There is a gap between where you want to go, what you want to be, what you want to do, and where you are presently right now.
Yes.
So, then that's the time na parang do do baby steps, yung mga ganyan.
True, true, true.
Oh,
And
Yun. Hoy, I was about to say kanina, sabi ko, di ba, hey guys, salamat kasi nakatulong sa akin. At the moment kasi, nandun ako sa rut na kasi 'di ba nagbakasyon, so medyo na-derail ako sa diet ganyan kasi kain all the
Right.
Tapos pagkabalik dito, hindi ko na inisip yung diet tapos sige na
Ay,
sarap
Diyos
kumain.
ko.
Ayan, so now that I've thought about it and heard you guys say these things, parang medyo makakatulong sa to bounce
oh,
back.
nice. Perfect. Gusto
Yeah.
natin
True,
yan.
true. O, tsaka I think, was it Gwenny or Mikey na parang, si Gwenny yata, na parang you don't have to be so cognitive about it, no? Kasi
Mm-mm.
dalawa naman yun, eh. It's how, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, eh. Hence, affecting what you're doing at the end of the day. So, yun nga, identify mo muna, ano ba talaga yung gap? Sabi nga kanina, di ba? So, yung utak, minsan yung emotions, hindi nagpapagsasama yan, eh, di ba? So,
Mm.
imbes na mag-refer ka to like sometimes kasi ang default kasi natin ang tendency is to be rational about things, diba? Like if we can't really process our emotions, balik to being rational and being cognitive and cerebral about things, diba? So minsan assessment tayo and everything, diba? Online. Then ang ending parang hindi pa rin napoprocess yung emotions kasi nga we can't really like do it on our own. So laging ganun, eh. Diba? Parang utak, feelings, emotions, and then what you're doing. Kaya nga, lahat tayong ginagawa. Kasi nga, baka may gap nga dun sa iniisip natin, saka emotions. Baka nga mismo yung dalawang aspeto na yon, pag-iisip at yung pakikiramdam mo, hindi mo ma-determine, eh. Diba? So kahit ano pang pagpaprocess mo sa utak mo, dun sa gap mo, pero yung emotions mo hindi mo naman na-determine. Case in
Yeah.
point, sometimes when I talk to, eto na, share ko rin to kay Mikey, like, minsan ko, like, cousin ko dito, no? Hindi niya ma-determine yung emotions niya. So from there, alam mo, tulungan mo siya, guide mo siya through the process, di ba? Ano ba iniisip mo? Tapos ma-determine niya on his own na may gap pala
Yeah.
yung iniisip niya at saka yung nararamdaman niya. Baka internally kailangan ayusin ng tao yan. But again, you can't do it on your own. You need to talk to like people, experts as much as possible, di ba?
Yes.
Hindi yan, eh. Ano ba yun? Kasi I think it's a mentality, eh. I don't know if it's a Filipino thing. This is not like microaggression or what, ha? Pero parang for me, it's a Filipino
I
thing.
think it's
Parang
a Filipino thing. Yes.
no?
Na ano? Sorry, sa
Na parang we're kind of like we latch on to the idea of that we're resilient, we're mentally okay,
Yeah.
but we're not.
For
Diba?
sure.
And we just
Probably
accept it.
overrated.
And it's okay that we're going through things. I mean, it's fine. Yun.
It has helped. It has helped a lot of people then with that
Yeah.
mindset.
Yes.
I think it's a double-edged sword, diba? Kasi parang on the one hand, okay,
Yep.
it's good that you feel that you can get through things, diba? Or it's good to think that you are resilient. But then there are just some things that
Yeah.
iba kasi yung resiliency sa parang complacency or resiliency and parang pagiging martir.
Yeah.
Siguro different aspect
Right.
na yun. Pero sige, in terms of let's say emotional resilience, okay, it's fine to think that you can get through this because you were brought up to be strong, or maybe because there is this belief that you're a guy, you're supposed to power through it, etc. and so forth, diba? Pero fact of the matter is we're all human and we all have our limits and we all have our thresholds. So that threshold may be different for one versus the other, but we all have them. So it's okay to ask for help. Kasi maybe, maybe you feel na kaya mo pa. But then, if you feel na kaya mo pa, okay lang, sige, go. Pero if you feel na hindi mo na kaya, pero nahihiya or ayaw mo pa rin humingi ng tulong, I think there's something wrong there. Parang you're not being resilient. You're just being stupid.
Accepting of the situation.
Yeah.
You're settling.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or if you're talking about, yun na nga, sige, let's go there, di ba? Parang if you're talking about it in the political setting, resiliency, not complaining, is not resiliency.
Yes.
It's basically just accepting the status quo. And it's
Flip natin
basically
yan,
just
mama.
giving up, or it's giving up that there's something else, or it's basically thinking that you don't deserve more than what you're getting.
Right.
So, alam mo yan, parang that's not resiliency. That's just not
Agree.
good citizenship. So,
Yeah.
go out, register, and vote. 2020.
Exactly. Yun eh.
Yes. And
Tama
huwag
na, wag na
kalimutan.
i-tolerate yan.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
tolerance,
and may
sometimes not a good
di
thing.
talaga. Not at all. Right. And make Ate Pinks proud. Ate Pinks web, snip natin yan. Ganon. Char lang. Gusto ko yun. Uy, may ganun
slow
ako.
mo.
Yes! Uy, alam niyo, may gesture akong ganyan kahit wala na akong buhok. Talagang kunwari, umiinit
Oo.
yes. Kunwari, may initing discussion, tapos biglang nag-aaway na. Kasama ako ng argumento. Biglang mapapaganin ako. O tapo. Gano'n.
Parang yung kay McCoy. May video si McCoy, di ba?
Oo. Oo. Yung gumagana-ganon siya.
Okay. McCoy Dubs.
Ay, Dobbs.
McCoy Dubs.
Yes.
Ay, just
Funny,
Grabe.
Sweet.
Ayun.
So,
Yes,
guys.
I'm thinking diba, parang since our topic is what brings you out of the rut. Parang we're saying that first, I guess it's important to be able to process things first.
Right.
Knowing the difference between cognitive processing and emotional processing, and building self-awareness, identifying and defining the rut that you're in, understanding the nature of the rut that you're in. And then parang the next question in mind is that once you get to that point, the next question is how do you keep yourself driven so you don't get back to the rut, or so that the activity you've chosen to be an interruption to your rut won't eventually become the rut. So I think yun yung question ko sa inyo, like the question in mind is what keeps you driven, what keeps you from falling into the trap. Trap na yung ginamit ko. Falling into the trap of having a lot of monotony in your. Of course, I'm not saying monotony is wrong, diba? I know a lot of people who are absolutely happy with constance and predictability in their lives, and I think it depends on the person, diba, how much of that you want. But parang when there's unhappiness and the lack of productivity, I guess it's the part that needs to be addressed. How do you guys, like kayo, how have you dealt with that in the past na to maybe get away from the negative type of monotony, or yung simply saying boring situation, or finding yourself in a boring situation in life, and how do you keep yourself driven so you maintain your productivity, parang ganun.
Yeah. Wait, I'll answer that very quickly.
Oh.
And productivity, I missed that. Mikey.
Productivity!
Ano na miss ko?
May talaga.
Oh my
Na-update
God.
na ba?
Parang, uli na tayo nag-update.
Kalimutan na.
Uy, pala,
Naging
alam mo,
rap na yun.
na-program yun sa utak ko. Pag naririnig ko, ayun na, alarm na, gano'n. Productivity. I think as as professionals that we are right now, no, as trainers, I think learning is a big factor for me to keep myself on the ground, and parang for me to keep on going. Kasi like, kung manonood ka ng YouTube video, Luday, mag-recommend ng ibang videos yan, 'di ba? Sunod-sunod. Kung manonood ka ng kunwari video editing, Luday, ang dami mo nang pwedeng panoorin na super mga 10-minute lang na ang bilis, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So, and aside from that, I don't only kasi ako I'm a social learner, and I go back to what I value. So what I do is kung may napanood akong bago, sinishare ko talaga sa tao, like sa inyo, and other people, and then sometimes I discuss it with other people. That's what's keeping me driven. Learning in general, it can be anything. Basta gumagana yung utak ko, natutuwa na ako, nagagana ako. Given the limitations that we have now, kasi hindi tayo nakakalabas ng lahat. We have all the resources para learning talaga. Ang daming video sa YouTube na pwedeng panoorin. At least that's me, no? Yeah. Kayo, guys.
Siguro yung sa akin naman, it's I'm trying to identify the feeling. Char.
Yeah.
But basically, well, siguro if I may reference our previous talk, yung spark, diba? Parang
Mm,
I like to feel on a daily basis a spark. You know,
okay.
parang a feeling of joy, of wonder, of happiness, diba?
Oh.
So it can be sourced from anything at all. So it can be a YouTube video, it can be a Netflix show, it can
Yeah.
be maybe somebody sent me I don't know, a text message, diba? Or it can be just talking to you, you know. And then it can be anything. So I mean that's what keeps me going, diba?
Right.
It's parang we all have those routine things that we do, which don't necessarily provide you that spark during your day. So if well sometimes parang throughout the day, parang sometimes it takes a bit longer some days. But as long as I have one spark a day, I'm good.
Okay.
I can keep going. So sometimes pag medyo super na feel ko na nasa rut ako sa bahay, then so yung sinabi natin, di ba? I action. So lumalabas ako, parang I go to SM, and then maybe I buy myself a milk tea. So that gives me that spark, that happy
Yeah.
feeling. Sugar rush
Sugar.
talaga siya. But then
Yeah.
again, it gives you that momentary, fleeting
Correct.
happiness or joy. Di ba?
Saglit lang,
Or at
no?
least,
Yeah.
diba? Oo. So yeah, I mean, for me, that's what it is. And just like yung ginawa ni Ben, diba? Parang he's been cooped up at home in Manila for the longest time. So for him to get that spark, he went to Boracay. So it's pretty much the same
Yeah.
thing. Maybe we can get it in smaller doses sometimes, but sometimes we
Right.
can take it in, we can get big doses. And then I think the bigger the dose, the longer it stays with you. So
Yeah.
parang the better you are for more days.
Yeah.
So yun,
True.
parang that's it for me, basically.
Yeah.
Sorry, medyo interesting yung sinasabi ni TJ Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Bills make me
Bills.
driven. Can you elaborate?
Same.
I wish
Bills
my
make
bills make
Okay,
me
so
So I
driven.
think it's more, yeah. Go.
No,
Besh,
go ahead,
Mike.
Ben. Sige, go ahead.
I think what he's saying is parang don't look for any other reason to get up and work. Parang when you have
Wala.
bills to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Parang yun eh. When you have bills to pay, then let's work.
It's enough to drive you to get on
Correct.
the.
And that's
Yeah.
true, di ba? Kasi parang, bills come regularly and they
Yeah.
need to be paid, di ba? So, I mean, it's not something that you can put off. So, whether you feel like it or not, you're going to have to pay it. And how do you pay
Yes.
it? By working, by going through the motions, by getting that
Uh-huh.
paycheck every 50 days. So, that works.
True. True.
Pero I don't think, well, I feel, and for me, siguro, me personally, na bills can drive you to be productive, but there are other things that can drive you to seek for happiness or to seek for
Yes.
excellence
Yes,
or to
And
seek for
those are your sparks, di ba, Mike?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
True. Pero gusto ko yung sinabi ni Mikey na pa-milk tea, paminsan. Yung mga maliliit na mga pasurpresa for ourselves, mga rewards, kumbaga. Like,
Especially if you haven't done it in a long time.
right, exactly. Diba? Parang delayed gratification kineme, diba? Ako like, every
Yes.
morning, what really keeps me waking up, parang hindi nagigising, no? Char. Ano dito? Coffee talaga. Like, I like the caffeine in my system. Diba?
Mm.
So coffee is my milk tea, char lang. Yeah, every day. Ayun.
I agree, and thank you for mentioning that, Nico. Kasi I completely agree that sometimes a huge factor in lacking the drive or the energy to do something is the physical aspect. And I've noticed that because before I'm not really a consistent vitamins taker. But since the pandemic, I've been so religious in taking my vitamins. And I really
Kaya,
Nice.
noticed
kaya
na
pala glowing ka.
sobrang laki ng difference yung energy mo. I think physical energy
Right.
can help a lot talaga to have the drive. Kasi, well, kahit nga hindi drive yung babangon ka lang, diba? Because if you're physically tired, it's hard to
Yeah.
find generally the energy to do just about anything, whether that's
Very
chores,
true.
diba? Minsan nga tatamarin ka, kakain ka na lang, tatamarin ka pang mag-prepare ng kakainin mo.
Ngumuya.
Yeah. But if
Correct.
you're physically well, if you have enough sleep, parang gano'n ng ano like in the case of Nico, diba, yung caffeine really helps, and knowing what gives you first the physical energy, then it might be a little bit easier to go to the other types of energy or yung drive nga na sinasabi mo. Kasi parang, I think back to basics rin din tayo, di ba? Make
Yeah.
sure that we rest, have enough rest, eat
Tulog,
enough,
no?
yung balanced diet, oo. Kasi sabi
True.
nila, di ba, pag hindi ka good eater, hindi balance yung diet, nanghihina ka din. So, bis
That's
ka
right.
mapagod,
Hormones
and then
din.
you're moody, right? So, it could also be
Yes.
hormones yung the lack of
Right.
drive or motivation can also be part of, because you're hormonal, or it's also the chemicals in your body that's contributing
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just my thoughts lang. Dahil
Agree.
dun sa mention of coffee. I
Wait, pero ako,
agree.
buti minention ni Gwenny yung tulog. Tulog at saka pagkain talaga yung nagpapatuwa talaga sa akin. If I get enough sleep and if I have like enough food twice a day at least, 'di ba? Okay na ako dun eh. Like happy person na ako. Tulog talaga. Huwag mo ko istorban, wala ka dyan. Wala nang jowa basta may tulog. Char.
Yeah.
At yung tipo ng tulog na restful talaga di ba? Kasi parang
Yeah.
you might have long parang sleep patterns, pero
But
parang putol-putol
roughness,
naman.
yeah.
Or
Right,
parang
right.
you don't get into
Kailangan
that
quality sleep.
correct, yung deep sleep na gano'n.
Yeah.
Parang marami kang tulog pero pagod ka pa rin. Alam mo yun? So,
It does happen,
and
'di ba?
True.
it does. It happens. And it really affects how you how you interact with people as well. So parang sabi nga ni Gwen, if you're tired or if you're sleepy or if you're hungry, it can affect your emotions talaga eh. So physiology affects psychology rin eh.
True.
So parang how can you stretch your patience if you lack sleep, di ba? Or how can you be productive if you're parang hungry? Ano yun, yung mga ganang bagay. So it is very important that we address the
Angry ka
physical
na.
hungry ka rin.
Hungry.
So it's important to address the physical aspect so that it also assists the mental aspect.
True.
Sabi nga ni TJ, we need to reward ourselves din.
Very much. Yeah.
Because you're worth it.
Validation, no? Validation. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Pag
Yes,
Mikey,
maybe.
pag umiinom ka ng milk tea, no? I feel valid. I feel valid. Ganon. I'm valid.
Yes.
Ganon.
Oh, tama.
Masaya yun.
Deserve this. I deserve this. Ganun.
Oo. Ayan. Uy, ikaw,
Hirapan ko
Benedict.
to.
Correct.
Ano?
Uy, bawat bobo, bawat boba pearls
Boba.
nito, pinaghirapan ko to. Char.
Yeah.
Tapioca.
Yeah, well, tapioca ball. ikaw, Benedict, ano yung ano?
Ano yun? Ha?
What
Magkano yung yellow
keeps you
dyan?
driven?
Paano
Hindi.
tatanungin mo? Tapioca sized or Zagu sized?
Gusto kaya.
Anyway, move on.
Pearl or nata?
Go.
Sige.
Hirap.
Kasi most of the time, siguro during the pandemic din talaga, most of the time, I've really found myself to not look for any motivation na. Alam mo yun,
Ay.
I stopped looking for deeper reasons on why I should do things.
Okay.
Kasi I observed at least with the way I think, yung parang I always have a way of justifying my choices. Alam mo yun? Parang,
Mm.
Right, right, right.
so, so pag di ako nag-exercise, ba't naman ako mag-exercise? Di ko naman kailangan yun. Masaya naman ako sa buhay. Parang gano'n. So parang I stop looking for reasons. I just do it. Parang gano'n.
Mm.
So,
Right.
The more
yung
that you
parang,
analyze, the more
oo
kang
yun.
ilan din.
Napansin ko yun sa sarili ko, na parang pag pinag-iisipan ko siya ng husto, parang mas lalo akong hindi gumagalaw or ang tagal-tagal ko bago ano, may ka natatawa.
Sabi mo kasi wag pag-isipan. So pag nag-exercise ka, bahala na, wag na pag-isipan. Buhat-buhat lang, pawis-pawis. Ano pang ginagawa
Ay
ko
kasi
ngayon? Charot lang.
marami akong friends sa eto yung mga mentors ko ganyan. Lagi nila sinasabi, ano ba kasing deepest why mo? Bakit mo ba ginagawa yan?
Mm.
Pag-workout mo,
I
ganyan-ganyan.
like that.
Sabi ko,
Very nice.
Coach, masama ba kung wala akong deep why on why
Oo
I'm
nga.
doing this? I just do it because I love doing it. Parang ganon.
Yeah,
Kasi
yeah, yeah.
nag-enjoy ako. Kapag
True.
nag-exercise, parang iba yung feeling, yung endorphin, wow. Yung mga
Yeah.
ganyan.
Endorphins. Char.
Yun. So, pero yun, siguro kapag, maybe, kaya ako ganun, kasi hindi pa talaga ako na stuck dun sa malalim na rut. But I guess when that
Right.
happens, yun talaga yung kailangan. Yeah, when that happened before, tama yung sinabi ni Lesa, I went back to my parents for a while,
Mm.
nagre-energize, alam mo
Right.
yun, you go back
Very true.
to a comforting place or you do something that comforts you. Oh, by the way, guys, I suggest you, I'm not sure if you've seen on Netflix yung Guide to Meditation, ganyan yan. Try niyo yung
Ay,
first
Mm.
nakita ko din yan.
Talaga?
Ang ganda.
Ano
I watched
gagawin?
it last night
Hindi ko
and
pa pinapanood.
parang when you watch it, parang just don't do anything else. Start with episode
Mm.
1.
Okay, okay.
So, you just focus on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ano yun, Ricky?
Who would start with the last episode? I'm sorry.
I agree.
Nag-react lang talaga ako.
Tama ka doon. Uy, pero yeah, yung galing. Pero, basta, hindi ko na i-spoil, gawin nyo na lang.
Sige. We'll. Anong may impact ba sa atin? I mean, mag-meditate ba tayo? Ano mong gagawin? Or parang more like
Iga-guide ka niya. Iga-guide ka niya sa meditation.
Ah.
Ganda siya.
Nako. I don't know if Mikey will agree with me, but as Virgos, I cannot meditate. I cannot
No.
ever meditate.
Kaya.
Hindi ako makapag-focus.
Right.
Ito lang po.
I mean, we were Julia Roberts in the early stages of Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my God.
But Benedict, we will try our best.
It has a way. The episode has a way on para basta I can't say it for you You just have to.
Yeah. Sige.
Anyway, if it doesn't work, then on to the next one.
Wait, pero wait lang. Super quick lang. Ako naman, I don't know if this is meditation. I guess this is meditation kasi meditation, well, clinical psychologists would say na it's a form of internal communication, di ba? Even prayer nga is internal communication. Ako, self-talk. In the morning, alone, no noise, no music whatsoever, silence lang, and I talk to myself, I feel better. I feel good. So I think I should see that on Netflix kasi baka nga mali mga pinagagawa ko dito, nagsasalita ako mag-isa dito, sisigaw-sigaw ako dito. Parang tanga lang.
It's nothing naman. It's nothing heavy or big. It's very light.
Okay, very nice. Uy, may phone-in question talaga, wala sa chat to ha. Benedict, di ba nasabi mo na kasi yung big why mo. Ang pinakamalaking tanong talaga ng itong tumawag lang recently, no? Ano daw ang biggest why mo? Bakit ka nakasando tonight?
No.
Wala talaga.
Sige, laban.
Ano gusto ko, di ba?
Wait, I just showered naman.
Explain
talaga. Explain?
Wala kami sinasabi.
In-explain yung sarili.
Uy, pero super quick lang talaga. Ayun, papatong-patong na naman ako sa mga sinasabi ko dahil sa mga sinasabi nyo rin eh. may times talaga na kunwari, nakaligo na ako, like, kunwari, mga around 5, umaga, tapos hapon ligo na naman ako. Tapos, kunwari, pag nakahiga na akong ganyan, tuloy-tuloy na yan, as in matutulog na lang ako. Diba? Parang wala ka nang iisipin. Pero nakaligo yun, syempre. Kaya nga sabi ni
Oo.
Ben, diba? Char.
Ay, nako.
Ang saya ng usapan na to, no?
Salamat ha. Salamat guys ha.
So, concluding thoughts nyo and take on rut and drive and its relationship. Scientific.
Simulan ko. Concluding
Go.
thought.
Go.
Go.
Start with one step. Yeah. Start with one
Agree.
step.
Agree.
That's it.
Perfect.
If you one thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, start with one step. And
Gusto ko
then
yan.
see how it goes.
Ayaw muna natin yan. Char lang.
Ayun.
Gusto ko
I
yun.
like that. Yes.
O, kayo naman.
Yun na yun. Then
Yeah.
proceed to the
Oo.
next step. De, joke lang.
Oo,
I
yun
agree
eh.
with Ben. Parang in relation to in relation to yung step, take the first step is, kasi you're gonna have to start somewhere and then make small goals, diba? Yung short-term and long-term goals all together. And it also helps to know yourself, develop self-awareness eh. Kasi kung hindi mo alam kung ano yung gusto mong mangyari, it's difficult also to create goals. So, and also yung knowing what works for you. Syempre, you can also always do yung hit or miss experiment na just try to get advice from other people, how they take it, how they process things, how they keep themselves driven, how they get out of the rut. But it might not always work for you. So depende sa'yo eh. Like in the case of Ben, yun nga, in his case, diba, you don't want to process things as much for you to be able to be productive. I guess it's discovering what works for you, but yun nga, taking the first step is always important, and then make small goals, short-term and long-term goals. That's it for me. None from my end. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes. Sorry, I was distracted for a little bit. But may comment kasi si VR eh. Si
VR pala eh.
VRD. So yun. Rapperist ka raw. Kalahin mo yan.
Oh, diba?
Sando man.
Yeah, nakawa ko din.
So anyways, it's not much different from what you guys said eh. Parang yun nga. Take action. Whatever that action is. It can be something small, it could be something physical, it can be something mental. Basta, just do something about it. Kasi the reason why you're in a rut is probably because you are not taking any form of action. Parang you're just letting it take you.
True.
Parang you're just riding that wave. Eh. So parang take action, take charge. And also, like you guys mentioned earlier, it's important to talk to it with someone. Yeah, I mean, even if you think that you don't need help, I think it would still be beneficial if you had like someone to process what you were going through, or possibly process what possible action steps you can take. Kasi there's no harm in it, and there's a lot of benefit that can be had from a different perspective. So, kasi if you talk to someone, dalawa lang yan eh. It's either it validates what you're thinking, or number two, it sort of like expands what you were thinking, and then it gives you a better perspective on things. So, that's it for me.
Perfect. Wait, hindi ko na ulitin talaga yung sinabi mo ha. Kasi nag-agree talaga ako sa inyo tatlo. But I like what Fred is saying also sa chat, no? And I'll bank on this also. He says, dreams keep me driven, but purpose keep me seeking, while passion keep me believing. So
I
ako,
love it.
And
ganda, diba?
I like that.
tweet natin yan. Yes. Thank you,
Ay,
Fred.
pag-picture tayo. Tapos saka charot.
Oh, yeah.
Gusto ko yan, Fred.
Game.
Direct,
Screenshot
medyo,
ko. Screenshot ko.
bawasan
Ano
ng
ba? Okay.
okay na.
Game, screenshot
Okay.
ko game. 1, 2. Okay.
Okay, ayan.
Yan.
Ayan, isasad
So,
natin.
Fred,
Shout out to you, Fred.
congratulations. Parang may
Congratulations! Nanalo ka ng
Shout out!
Yan. Shout out. Pero maganda
Sumaya.
sinabi niya. Ako, I'd like to... Ano? Inaati ko talaga like,
Naglag.
believe it. Hold on to the feeling. Yan. Nasa tono
Yes.
tayo. Yan. Laban
Say yes
yan.
for me.
Ano tawag dito? Ako, I get excited with the dreams eh. Ano ba yung mga dreams? Yung mga ambitions? Ano ba yung mga... Like, way back college, diba? May mga dreams tayo dati na gusto mo maging ganito, maging ganyan. Diba?
Yes.
And if you keep reminding yourself of those things, and now na
True.
diba, we have enough resources to achieve these dreams, diba? Parang iisip mo lahat gusto mo nang gawin. Like ako example, pag may makeup, diba? Parang I've wanted to really try to like learn how to put on makeup, like alam mo yung transformation and everything. Na-excite ako pag iniisip ko siya. Filmmaking, video editing, yung mga ganyan, kaya mga pasimpleng pa video editing kahit hindi naman ganun ka-perfecto, ginagawan ko talaga ng paraan. Kasi na-excite ako, na-happy ako, ganyan. Yung mga ganung bagay, mga bagay, mga like these are dreams na hindi ko na-fulfill eh, no? Parang it also goes back to spark din dun sa previous session natin, diba? What keeps you going? Or what's your spark anyway? Pero yun nga, parang what keeps me driven would be little things, small things that make me happy. One of which would be dreams, mga ambitions. Yung sinasabi ni Mikey, mga small rewards natin here and there, milk, tea, coffee, whatsoever. I mean, don't deprive yourself of these things. Ramen, diba? Mga ganyang
Yes.
bagay. And then other things, like if you get motivated, if you get passionate about learning at a skill or two, diba? Go on YouTube, ang daming videos dyan, may Skillshare. Skillshare, baka naman, no? Pwede namang i-promote dito. Pwede lang. Ayan. So, ayan, parang I think you guys made mention of these things already. Parang ako naman, from my end, do something concrete. Parang, kumbaga, work on what you're thinking and what you're feeling for you to be able to work on what you are about to do. So parang laging iniisip, nararamdaman para ma-influence yung gagawin mo or yung actions mo at the end of the day.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes!
Ang lakas nun. Lakas.
Gusto natin yan.
Lakas.
Dahil dyan, I will dream tonight so that I will get myself out of this rut.
Very true. Very true.
Yes. So, can take action. Just don't overthink it and just do it. Yes.
Yes.
Music naman kayo dyan.
Music na kasama naman, Benedict. Para, ayun na, Mikey.
Yan. Just do it.
Ano mas mahaba to? Naghalo-halo na. Ano to? Ano sexy? Yun yan.
Okay na.
Parang may magsa-sexy
Ano?
dance. Ang magsa-sexy dance daw, gamit yung music niya, yung nakasando daw.
Okay, go. Sample.
Yeah.
Game na game.
Tama, fresh na pang bureka yun, no?
Oo.
Game na game.
Yes.
Fresh, pero from Boracay lang.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So that was a good discussion tonight, guys.
Yes, I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Thank you. And
Hindi ko
sana
na-accept.
na-enjoy nyo rin, guys,
Yeah.
audience,
Yes.
viewers,
Uy,
friends.
sabi ni VR, masaya daw. Yan, masaya may after party daw.
See you at the after party. Oh,
Meron
because
pa.
May pa-event
Okay.
pala, no?
birthday.
Oo.
Oh, thank you, Gwen, Nico, and
Thank
Mike.
you, guys.
Always a good
Sa
time with
invite
you.
namin, ha.
At salamat din sa mga umattend ha. Salamat sa mga nakakain ng Shanghai dyan. And thank you sa mga nakisama sa atin ngayong gabi, Thursday, January 21. And we hope that in the next rut that you will be experiencing, may it be a big rut or a small rut, a rut that you are familiar with, or a new rut that you will encounter, ay makaya nyo na talunan yan at i-beat
Yes.
ang rut na yan. Kaya-kaya niya, rut lang yan.
Kaya ni Dora.
So,
Thanks everybody!
Thank you so much, everybody. See you next Thursday.
bye,
Happy
guys.
Thursday, everybody. Bye.
Yourself.
Take care of you.